They say that youth is thrown away on the young. It doesn't have to be that way. Hundreds of people older and wiser than you have shared their best tips for living life to the fullest before reaching middle age. All you have to do is listen to what they have to say. Here are the best tips for spending your 20s, so you don't live in regret later. Learn to accept and love yourself first. In other words, be kind to yourself. Scientists believe it can help you be more successful because you are learning from your mistakes rather than berating yourself for them. One exercise in self-compassion is to treat yourself as you would a friend or colleague who has failed. This is really hard right now, you might tell yourself, or I'm sorry you're struggling. Learn to say no with confidence. It's best to learn this skill now, while you're still in your early career. You will be able to prioritize the people and experiences that are truly meaningful to you in this manner. If you want to know how to decline an invitation without appearing antisocial, etiquette and civility expert Rosalinda Orpizarrando recommends keeping it simple. It sounds fantastic, but I'm going to pass this time. You can even argue with your boss if he or she assigns you a task that you are unable to complete. For example, if you're already swamped with other projects, National Workplace expert Lynn Taylor recommends responding as follows. I'd be delighted to work on that project, but it's possible that whatever other project you're working on will have to wait until tomorrow, because I was planning to spend the next 3 hours finishing that proposal. Would you like me to postpone that? Take more risks. Don't talk yourself out of doing what you really want to do. Don't give in to fear. If you want to spend your vacation in Europe, go ahead and do it. Do it if you want to talk to that hot girl guy at the bar. Start your own business if you want to, and do the research first. Having a string of regrets in your 30s will come back to haunt you. Take risks and pursue your dreams before it's too late. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, for example, is well known for this characteristic. Given a 10% chance of a 100 times payoff, you should take that bet every time, Bezos has said. Pull the trigger. Some people get the opportunity to see if their band can make it big, if their business can take off, or if the love of their life is moving to the other side of the world and wants them to join them. It's frightening to consider the life we know versus the one we don't, and so many people pass up these opportunities for no other reason than fear. If you consider your life to be an engineering problem, you should always be prototyping, creating and testing a model. As Stanford professor and author of The Achievement Habit, Bernard Roth, put it, you don't want to be tinkering forever until you've got the seemingly perfect model. So, live in another country for a while, or start a small business, and see how it goes. You can always try again, if it doesn't work out the first time. Turn your weaknesses into strengths. Consider your weaknesses to be a competitive advantage. As Eric Barker writes in Barking Up the Wrong Tree, it's something both Michael Phelps and Winston Churchill learned to do. Phelps' slightly awkward body type made him a poor runner and dancer, but it also made him an incredible swimmer. Being paranoid meant that Churchill was once deemed unsuitable for the highest offices, but it also meant that he saw Hitler as a threat to the world. Determine what makes you unique and transform it into what makes you a winner. Learn to negotiate with politeness. It is critical to learn to negotiate early in your career. Negotiating your starting salary and continuing to negotiate every few years or when you start a new job, Business Insider's Tanza Loudenbach and Sky Gould reported, could make a $1 million difference in your lifetime earnings. $1 million. If you're concerned about botching your first salary negotiation, do your research to get a sense of the going rate for your position. Remember that salary isn't the only thing you can bargain for. You can also ask about performance bonuses, equity options, health insurance premiums, and relocation assistance. Forgive yourself. Give yourself a break. Kicking yourself for previous failures will not change what happened. Instead, it will leave you sore from being kicked so hard. Don't hold out any hope for a better past, so that it doesn't own you, own who you've been. This is true for people of all ages, but it's a talent that takes a long time to master, so you might as well start young and learn it well. I haven't encountered many people under the age of 20 who have taken it seriously, but I have met a few people in their 20s who are starting to understand it. I've also met people in their 80s and 90s who are still confused and full of regrets. Journalist Catherine Schultz says something similar, saying that we can expect to have regrets and shouldn't feel guilty about it. In her TED Talk, she adds, the point isn't to live without any regrets. The point is to not despise ourselves for having them. We must learn to accept and cherish the flawed, imperfect things we make, as well as forgive ourselves for doing so. Regret reminds us that we know we can do better, not that we did something wrong. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to others. In this day and age of social media, it's easy to feel bad about yourself if your friends are getting married, having children, and living a life of luxury. We all have our own life to live. The only thing you'll accomplish is to injure yourself. According to a study, comparing oneself to others is a waste of time. That's because people can appear happier and less distressed from the outside than they really are. Don't be afraid to change directions. Yeah, you went to high school, then went to college, tech school, training, or whatever you did, thinking that was your path. However, if you eventually acquire a job and are unhappy, work to change it right away. It will not make you happy to spend your entire workweek sad, merely to pay the bills. The longer you wait to change, the more difficult it will be. So get used to change, because you'll most likely have to do it several times in your life and job. Jenny Blake, the career coach and former Googler who wrote the book Pivot, believes changing careers doesn't have to be scary. All you have to do now is carefully plan your move, relying on your current experience first, then networking, and the last testing until you're ready to launch. Don't rush to cram stuff into your 20s because you think you should. This do stuff before you're 30 notion has always perplexed me. I don't see why you shouldn't be able to do things after you've turned 30, or even 40. I don't see why the number 30 is so significant. My suggestion is to not squeeze too much into your 20s just because you believe you should. Simply do what you want, what feels right to you, and take your time if necessary. Subscribe and stick around for more quality content on how to improve your life. Till next time.